Long ago, in the kingdom of the Sakyas, there lived a noble woman named Mahapajapati Gotami. She was the younger sister of Queen Maya, the mother of Prince Siddhartha. When Queen Maya passed away 7 days after Siddhartha's birth, Mahapajapati raised him as her own son. At the age of 29, Siddhartha left home to begin his search for enlightenment, and his foster mother was in her late 50s when he finally returned home as the Buddha. Greatly moved by his teachings, both of the Buddha's parents became lay disciples, but his father died not long after. In those days, a woman was always to be under the care of a man, if not her husband, then her son or another male relative. But even with her high status, Mahapajapati suddenly found herself without any primary male relations. The web of family connections that gave every woman in that society her identity and security was gone. To complicate matters, an angry dispute broke out between a neighboring clan and the Sakyas. The conflict turned violent, and many men had been killed in battle. The Buddha tried to mediate, giving a sermon about peace and compassion, and many of the surviving men renounced worldly life entirely, choosing to follow the Buddha as monks. Once again, women were left behind, wives without husbands, daughters without fathers, mothers without sons. They all came to Mahapajapati for guidance. She was surrounded by displaced wives, widows, consorts, dancers, and servants. Without the network of kin that once supported them, these women began to turn toward her. She saw their suffering, and her own reflected in it. She had known comfort and privilege, but also the instability that life could bring. The Buddha's teaching on impermanence, that all things change and cannot be held onto, had struck her deeply. She began to wonder if women, too, might walk the path of renunciation and spiritual practice, not as dependents, but as seekers in their own right. When the Buddha next visited, she approached him respectfully and asked that women be allowed to enter the homeless life under his guidance. The Buddha refused. 3 times she asked, and 3 times he declined. Still, she did not give up. In time, Gotami and about 500 women made a bold decision. They shaved their heads, put on simple robes, and began the long journey on foot to where the Buddha was staying. The journey was roughly 150 miles. They walked barefoot across rough roads and open plains. The sun burned their skin, dust clung to their robes, and their feet bled, but their resolve never faltered. When they finally reached where the Buddha was staying, they stood outside the monastery gate, exhausted and covered in dust, waiting to be seen. Ananda, one of the Buddha's closest disciples, came upon them and was moved by their condition. He went before the Buddha and said, "Lord, Mahapajapati Gotami stands at the gate with 500 women. She raised you when your mother passed away. If women are capable of realizing truth as men are, would it not be right to let them in?" The Buddha was silent for a while, then finally agreed. If Gotami would accept a set of special rules establishing respect and harmony between the monks and the new community of nuns, she and her followers could be ordained. When the message was brought to her, Gotami accepted without hesitation. That moment marked the founding of the Bhikkhuni order, the community of Buddhist nuns. In the years that followed, Mahapajapati Gotami became known for her steadiness and compassion. She practiced diligently and reached awakening herself. She had once raised the Buddha as a child, and in the end, it was his teaching that gave her and the hundreds of women who followed her a new kind of freedom. Her decision reshaped the landscape of spiritual life for women. What began as an act of courage in the face of loss became a turning point in history, a quiet revolution grounded not in rebellion, but in faith, endurance, and the search for liberation.